the brilliant generals of Genghis Khan, Jebe and Subutai. Behind Genghis Khan's unstoppable conquest stood not only his vision, but also the men who carried it out on the battlefield. Among his most trusted lieutenants were the legendary generals, often called the Four Dogs of War. These were men who embodied loyalty, courage, and military genius. But within this fearsome group, two figures rose above the rest: Jebe and Subutai. Together, they became the architects of some of the greatest military victories in world history. Victories that stretched the Mongol Empire from the steppes of Mongolia to the heart of Europe. Today, we dive deep into their stories, their origins, their strategies, and the legacy they left behind. The origins of Jebe, the arrow. Jebe, whose name literally means the arrow, did not begin life as a noble. His early years remain shrouded in mystery. What little we know suggests he came from a humble nomadic tribe, far from power or influence. According to legend, his rise began with an act of both defiance and brilliance. During a battle against Temujin, who would later be known as Genghis Khan, Jebe is said to have struck Temujin with an arrow, wounding him. Instead of executing him after the battle, Temujin recognized Jebe's skill and courage, and not only spared his life, but welcomed him into his ranks. This remarkable gesture of respect forged a bond of loyalty that would last a lifetime. From that moment forward, Jebe proved himself again and again, showing not only unmatched bravery, but also lightning-fast tactical instincts. His men admired his daring spirit. He thrived on risk and seemed to seek out the impossible. The rise of Subutai, the master strategist. If Jebe was the arrow, Subutai was the bow, the steady, guiding force that aimed and delivered devastating results. Subutai came from an equally humble background. His father was reportedly a herdsman, a man of no status or title. Yet in the Mongol army, merit mattered more than birth. Through loyalty, discipline, and sheer intelligence, Subutai rose from obscurity to become one of the greatest military minds in history. While Jebe loved bold raids and lightning strikes, Subutai was methodical. He planned meticulously, gathering intelligence, studying the enemy, and designing strategies that outmaneuvered larger, stronger armies. He was a master of logistics, able to move armies across vast distances at incredible speed. Together, these two generals were unstoppable, one representing daring courage, the other patient strategy. The Great Campaigns. In 1223, the world witnessed their genius on full display. A coalition of Rus princes and Cuman tribes gathered a massive army, 10 times the size of Jebe and Subutai's force. Most would have retreated, but not these two. They crafted a strategy that showcased the flexibility of the Mongol army. Pretending to be weak, they lured the enemy into a false sense of security. Step by step, they retreated, drawing the coalition deeper into their trap. Then at the right moment, the Mongols turned. With unmatched speed and coordination, they encircled their enemy in a devastating maneuver. The coalition was annihilated. Few survivors escaped. For the Mongols, it was a stunning victory that forever shifted the balance of power in the region. For the world, it was proof that Mongol success was not simply about numbers. It was about superior strategy and discipline. Subutai's expanding campaigns. After Jebe's death, likely from illness or wounds around the age of 62, Subutai carried on their work. His career spanned decades and countless victories. He secured the northern and western flanks of the Mongol Empire, ensuring its borders remained safe. He orchestrated campaigns against the Khwarezmian Empire, crushing resistance in Central Asia between the Amu Darya and Sir Darya rivers. This campaign secured the empire's western flank, freeing Genghis Khan to focus elsewhere. Later, Subutai turned his attention to the western Xia and Jin dynasties in China. These opponents were well fortified, with powerful cities and strong walls. Yet Subutai adapted his strategies to break their defenses. By controlling supply lines, cutting off reinforcements, and using intelligence networks, he wore them down. Victory followed victory, expanding Mongol control into northern China. The march into Europe. But Subutai's true legend was written in Europe. Leading Mongol armies thousands of miles westward, he engineered campaigns across Persia, the Caucasus, and into the heart of Eastern Europe. At the Battle of the Kalkar River, Subutai's deception and planning once again crushed a far larger coalition of Rus and Cuman forces. Later, he masterminded invasions that struck Poland and Hungary simultaneously, outmaneuvering European knights who had never faced such speed and coordination before. Even in Europe, where fortifications were strong and cavalry traditions ran deep, Subutai proved that Mongol strategy was unlike anything the world had ever seen. The legacy of Jebe and Subutai. What made these two generals remarkable was not just their victories, but their partnership. Jebe brought daring, lightning-fast strikes, and reckless courage. Subutai brought patience, foresight, and the ability to coordinate massive campaigns over vast distances. Together, they forged a model of warfare that still influences military strategy today, emphasizing mobility, intelligence, logistics, and deception. Jebe's legacy ended too soon with his death, but his spirit lived on in the Mongol army's relentless daring. Subutai's legacy continued through his son Batu, who founded the Golden Horde and extended Mongol dominance deep into Europe. Conclusion. The Mongol Empire was not built by Genghis Khan alone. Behind his vision were men like Jebe and Subutai, commanders who rose from humble beginnings to shape the destiny of empires. Their victories prove that the greatest armies are not built on noble titles or sheer numbers, but on merit, discipline, and innovation. Even centuries later, their campaigns remain legendary, tales of courage, cunning, and the unstoppable power of strategy. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. What do you find most fascinating about Jebe and Subutai, the daring arrow or the master strategist? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, history's greatest empires are built not just on force, but on the brilliance of the men who led them.